Now look, I'm finna tell y'all how people lose their imagination. Now, your imagination is very, very powerful. And as you grow older, people start to lose it and shit like that due to like getting into more of focusing on things that's outside of them. So like for example, things that's like external, things that are not internal, more like shit that's external, like school, um working a job, homework, studying, and they're putting all their external like focus on the things, and then they're just slowly but surely just starting to use one side of their brain, and that's their left brain. They're just starting to use their left brain, and the left brain deals with more like logic and shit like that. But look though, but let's get into this shit. Now look, now your imagination is your yin, your internal realm and shit like that. It deals with more of the unseen. And when you're dealing with the unseen, you can look at that as more like the spiritual aspects of it, the black, like dark, right brain, and the yin. And then the seen part of it, which is the external part of this shit, it's more like the yang, the left brain, the in the scene, what you can visually see with these two eyes, and the imagination part deals with more what you can see with your third eye, like your mind's eye and shit like that. Now when people start growing up and shit like that, they're bombarded with shit they have to do, and it's all correlated with the left side of what they see and shit like that. Cause when kids are growing up, no parents barely tell their kids. They say you can be anything you want, but they don't be telling them like how to be that. So it's like when they go out into the world and they start seeing things outside, they start thinking, oh, I have to be something that's outside of me. They have to go work at an office or some shit, or go, dig like ditches or some shit, like anything outside in the world. But they can really make themselves and be something like themselves if they got if parents were like, create something, use your imagination. Like this is what I'm saying. Like if parents told their kids to use their imagination and focus it onto what you want to do in the future and shit like that, then we'll have like way more or less employees and shit like that. We'll have way more leaders and shit like that, because leaders are dealing with visionary and shit and imagination and shit like that. But we got more followers now in the world too, because not a lot of people are using their imagination, and plus imagination is very getting cut short, because you got parents giving their kids cell phones, putting them on video games real fucking early, and it's nothing wrong with being on the cell phone or a video game. It's just like when they're on it, they're just on it like all damn day. Like they don't go outside or nothing or anything. So it's like, so back then it was more about, so like you can look back then, they weren't on video games, they were more outside. Then you can go towards like the 2000s or in 2010, or maybe if you can say 13, you can say it was more like a balance. It was more like yin and yang. They were outside, and then they were inside too, so it was more balanced during those times. Now in these times here, it's no balance. It's just straight focusing on shit, no imagination, nothing like that. So this gonna play out where a lot of people are now it's gonna play out on two splits in of this shit, because it ain't just gonna be solely on one side. It's gonna play out with the people who got imagination and shit like that. They're gonna look at it as more high value and shit like that, because now imagination is going to be like the more valuable trait to have. It's going to be like something like, how can I explain this shit? So like, say for example, everybody just don't got no imagination, just focusing on shit, no imagination, no thoughts to themselves, nothing creativity going on. When a person come around, like say for example, a person grew up, and this is like in this age here, he grows up and he barely has a phone and he's always outside. Like he sticking to the traditional shit while everybody else is inside on the phone all the damn time. Now when he's growing up, he's gonna be like, damn, I ain't got no damn phone and shit like that. And everybody else who's on the phone gonna be like, yeah, turn up, we're playing video games and shit, turn up. Now this gonna play out where later on the roles are gonna start to switch because all the ones who was playing video games and shit like that before, they're gonna have to go out and go get a job and shit like that, and they ain't gonna have no imagination or nothing on what they want to do because they was already straight. Now you got the other person who barely had a phone. He had to use his imagination. Who didn't even have a phone, not barely, but didn't. He had to use his imagination. So it's like when he gets his phone, he's gonna use that phone to excel him more. Like he's gonna use this phone this excel his imagination more because your phone is kind of like a mini universal browser in a sense. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But yeah, but I can say it now, but that's another topic for another day. Your phone is like a universal, a mini universe in your hand. But that's another topic for another day. Now look, but then his like your so then look, the person with the imagination, they're gonna get looked at as somebody who everybody throw their money at, who everybody like get drawn towards because they got more of internal shit. They got more of the gift and gifts and shit. They're more tapped into their gifts and shit like that because they wasn't so focused on the external while growing up and shit like that. So that's when it's gonna play out with motherfuckers with imagination. They're gonna have more power later on in the future and currently now because they have they're tapped into the unseen and the seen. So they're tapped into the unseen, which is the spiritual, the imagination part of this shit, the yin, and then you got they're tapped into the yang too. So they're like a balance of both. So it's like they got their imagination and they're out here in the physical with it. They're not, but then you gonna have the other people. They're going to be more tapped into the yang. They're not going to be having no creative ways to do things because they never was really had a long time to probably even spend to themselves to even think of like imagine thoughts and creativity and shit like that. They was always around people, like always in the external, always want to be around people and shit like that. That's another way you can lose your imagination. Always want to go along with the pack and everybody else's ideas. Don't want to cater to your own ideas and shit like that. Now look. Now kids. Now we're gonna get on the kids. All right. Now look. Now kids, they have imagination and shit like that too. But when a kid have like imagination, they have like real they have like hella power. But the thing is, what they power is, since they're not as much tapped into their yang, then it's like it's powerful, but it's not really powerful. So it's like, for example, say for example you was a kid, right, and you imaginate some shit. You imagine that you driving in a car or some shit. Then your shit gonna be powerful because like you gonna probably manifest a bicycle or you might manifest a electric car or some shit like that. Those little mini shits that be at Walmart or some shit like that. Now it's powerful, yeah, because you did it, but it's not as powerful because like you're not older like as somebody who was manifesting and doing this shit at like at 18 or 16 or some shit. Like you would have way more powerful. You'll be way more powerful in the external realm when you're like manifesting and imagining shit to come to your reality because you're older, and since you're older you got more advantage into the yang realm, like the external realm and the seen realm. So it's like if you got your imagination and you're getting older, then your shit then really you're just gonna become more powerful and you're just gonna just improve along the way versus somebody who drops their imagination. Then most likely you're going to be like more of a follower, or you're going to be more the person who wants to cling on to everybody else's ideas and their creative thoughts and trying to put it all on yourself. Or you don't, like, you're the type of person who takes somebody's paper, and when you're trying to copy it, you don't copy it in your own, in a different way. You copy in every fucking sentence word for word. You're not the person who gonna switch that shit up. So you're going to be like just basically like a copycat. Now you can change this, but you just have to find out where your imagination is and shit like that, and come up with your own shit, come up with your own ways of doing things and shit like that. Now look, cause this shit be fucking getting tiring sometimes, but I love it. Yeah. Now look though. Now, as I was saying though, summarize what I just said. Kids have hella power, but they have hella power in manifesting and making things come to the reality. But in the external realm, they don't have as much influence because they're small. They're like still a little vessel, a little body, and shit like that. But if they hold on to their imagination as they get older, then that's when they can manifest more powerful shit into their reality. But only time will tell if they still hold on to that imagination or they drop that shit. You know what I'm saying? So now look, dope with both of his yin and his yang, his right brain, a working right brain and the left brain, both together, and they're working together simultaneously. I think that's what. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like together at once. I said simultaneously. What the fuck? But look, though, they gonna come. They're both the right brain. The adult's right brain is working with the left brain. Then this person's gonna have more power into the external world and in the internal world, because they got both ends working. They're like working together. It's not just unbalanced. It's not where he has imagination and then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but has no external way of proving that they're gonna do it. So it's like a person who say, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make the music, and then they don't never do it. Or the person who say they're gonna do something, then they probably start imagining them do it, but they just never do it type shit. Then that's how you know a person is too far right brain, but they're not nowhere, they're not pulled towards their left side to actually put it into the reality and do it. Then you got a person who's more right brain. I mean, no, more left brain like more logical. Now there's imagery and shit like that. And then they'll probably do some shit, but when they do it, they don't do it in like a more creative way. Like when they do the shit for you, it's more in like this is like person who's like more logical and shit like that. Like they can do the shit for you. For example, for niggas who get haircuts. For example, say you got the barber and he finna cut your hair. Now say the barber who cutting your hair, he got right brain and left brain. So he's logical and he's creative. Now when a barber cut your hair, you gonna be like, damn, this the best haircut I done fucking seen. Now say for example, the barber, he real right brain. He like more right brained, but he not as good logical. He gonna show you some pictures and shit on what he might can do to your head online. He gonna pull up a picture online. I swear to God, this is a barber who more right brain, but he not so good left brain. So he gonna show you a picture on a haircut he seen online or some shit and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get you this shit, right? He gonna be like, yeah, I can do. You gonna be like, yeah, do this for me. Or you gonna show him the picture. He gonna look at it and he gonna start cutting your head, but he gonna think he cutting that shit just like the picture and the thing. But when he started to realize that, oh shit, I ain't cut it correctly, he gonna start to come up with ideas and concepts of, yeah, I did it in my own way. I seen that picture you showed me, but I did it in my own way. See, that's a barber who more tapped into their right brain, but left brain wise, they not as up there. Now this is more of a logical barber. A logical barber is more of a barber who don't do as much designs and shit. Like he this the barber who more left brain. He more left brain awareness. He more in the scene room. This more the barber who finna this the barber who will cut your hair, but he don't do no fancy shit. Like he don't do no designs or no stripes in your eyebrows or anything. He no stars and no lines in your head or nothing like that. He just cut your hair. He don't do like it's like a plain cut. It can be a good cut though, but it's not a creative cut. It's not like where he's like putting lines in the eyebrows and shit like that. He just doing it more basic in a way. You see what I'm saying? So that's another way I can put it in perspective. Now for my girls, look, say for example, you got a hair salon fuck that. Say for example, you got a bitch who do nails, right? And she's more tapped into her both ends. She's tapped into her yang, her imagination, and she's tapped into her yin, her external and shit like that. So when she's doing your nails and shit, you getting your nails done and shit like that. Them gonna be the best fucking nails you ever seen. You can be like, damn, these motherfucking nails right here going crazy. And you gonna be taking the pictures and shit. Cause the person who did your nails, they got more of a logical. They got more of a logical and they got an imagination. So these be probably the motherfuckers who can probably like do some raw ass nail designs. Now a motherfucker now a girl who say she doing the nails right and she more tapped into her right brain, she'll probably have like some creative shit, like, but she'll probably have like some creative looking nails. Like for example, she'll show you some shit, and if she ain't gonna show you some shit, she'll tell you she'll see some shit on the box, or she'll see some shit and she'll look at that shit. But when it's time to put it into the realm of reality to do the nails, you be like, damn. I thought my shit was gonna come out way better than this, but you had me all thinking my nails finna come out raw as fuck. But when you did my nails, it don't look nothing how you said you was gonna do it or how I seen it. That those be the bitches who be tapped more into their right brain. But when it's time to put it into the realm of reality and they finna do the nails, it don't look nothing how they showed you the picture. It don't look nothing like on the box or anything. Now these the type of girls who tap into they left brain. Like these the type of girls who when they hold on. They do more basic nails. They probably do more French. Like, you know, the French nail where it's white, or I think it's called the French, where it's white right there and it's just like basic. These more just the basic type of nails and shit like that. It's not really no diamonds and bedazzles and shit on that shit. It's just more just basic gloss nail, trim them shits, basic shit like that. And that's how, but look though, that's how people lose their imagination with a little bit of yin and yang into it. Other than that, I'm out this bitch.